ॐ ॐ ॐ ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवण त्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। समस्तदेवताभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराण आचार्येभ्यो नमः। परब्रह्मणे महाविष्णवे ब्रह्मणे सनकादिमुनिभ्यो नारदाय वेदव्यासाय शुकब्रह्मर्षे सूतमहामुनेः शौनकादि ऋषिभ्यो अत्र्यादृषिभ्यो प्रह्लादादिभक्तजनेभ्यो आदित्यादिनवग्रह देवताभ्यो नमो नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् एकादश स्कन्धः मुक्तिर्हित्वान्यथा रूपम् स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः। अथ द्वाविंशोऽध्यायः। श्री भगवानुवाच। This most important chapter. Let us chant from 36th verse. Very important. मनः कर्ममयं नॄणाम् इन्द्रियैः पञ्चभिर्युतं लोकाल्लोकं प्रयाति अन्यः आत्मा तदनुवर्तते ध्यायन्मनोनुविषयान् दृष्टान्वानुश्रुतानथ उद्यत्सीदत् कर्मतन्त्रं स्मृतिः तदनुशाम्यति विषयाभिनिवेशेन नात्मानं यत्स्मरेत् पुनः जन्तोर्वै कस्यचित् हेतोः मृत्युरत्यन्तविस्मृतिः जन्मत्वात्मतया पुंसः सर्वभावेन भूरिदा विषयस्वीकृतिं प्राहुः यथा स्वप्नमनोरथः स्वप्नं मनोरथं चेत्थं प्राक्तनं न स्मरत्यसौ तत्र पूर्वम् इव आत्मानम् अपूर्वं चानुपश्यति इन्द्रियाय न सृष्ट्येदं त्रैविध्यं भाति वस्तुनि बहिरन्तर्भिदा हेतुः जनो असज्जनकृत् यथा नित्यदा हि अङ्गभूतानि भवन्ति न भवन्ति च कालेनालक्ष्यवेगेन सूक्ष्मत्वात् तत् न दृश्यते यथार्चिषां स्रोतसां च फलानां वा वनस्पतेः तथैव सर्वभूतानां वयोवस्थादयः कृताः सोऽयं दीपोऽर्चिषां यद्वत् स्रोतसां तदिदं जलम् सोऽयं पुमान् इति नॄणां मृषा गीर्धिर्मृषायुषां मा स्वस्य कर्मबीजेन जायते सोऽप्ययं पुमान् म्रियते वामरो भ्रान्त्या यथाग्निर्दारुसंयुतः निषेकगर्भजन्मानि कौमारयौवनं वयोमध्यं जरा मृत्युः इति अवस्थास्तनोर्नृप एता मनोरथमयीः ह्यन्यस्योच्छावचास्तनोः गुणसङ्गादुपादत्ते क्वचित् कश्चित् जहाति च आत्मनः पितृपुत्राभ्याम् अनुमेयो भवाप्ययौ न भवाप्ययवस्तूनाम् अभिज्ञोद्वयलक्षणः तरोर्बीजविपाकाभ्यां यो वेद्वान् जन्म संयमौ तरोर्विलक्षणः द्रष्टा एवं द्रष्टा तनोः पृथक् प्रकृतेरेवमात्मानम् अविविच्या बुधः प्रमान् तत्त्वेन स्पर्शसम्मूढः संसारं प्रतिपद्यते सत्त्वसङ्गात् ऋषीन् देवान् रजसासुरमानुषान् तमसा भूततिर्यक्त्वं भ्रामितो याति कर्मभिः नृत्यतो गायतः पश्यन् यथैवानुकरोति तान् एवं बुद्धिगुणान् पश्यन् अनीहोऽप्यनुकार्यते यथाम्भसा प्रजलता तरवोऽपि चला इव चक्षुषा भ्राम्यमाणेन दृश्यते भ्रमतीव भोः यथा मनोरथधियः विषयानुभवो मृषा स्वप्नदृष्टाश्च दाशारः तथा संसार आत्मनः अर्थे हि अविद्यमाने वे संसृतिर्न निवर्तते ध्यायतो विषयान् अस्य स्वप्नेनर्थागमो यथा तस्मात् उद्धवमा भुङ्क्ष्व विषयान् असदिन्द्रियैः आत्माग्रहणनिर्वातं पश्य वैकल्पिकं भ्रमं क्षिप्तो वमानितो सद्भिः प्रलब्धो सूयतोऽथवा ताडितः सन्निबद्धो वा वृत्त्या वा परिहापितः विष्टितो मूत्रितो वाग्नैः बहुदैवं प्रकम्पितः श्रेयस्कामः कृच्छ्रगतः आत्मनात्मानमुद्धरेद उद्धव उवाच यथैव मनुबुद्धेयं वदनो वदतां वर सुदुस्सहमिमं मन्ये आत्मन्यसदतिक्रमं विदुषामपि विश्वात्मन् प्रकृतिर्हि बलीयसे ऋते त्वद्धर्मनिरतान् शान्तान्स्ते चरणालयान् इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायाम् एकादशस्कन्धे द्वाविंशोऽध्यायः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम श्रीभागवत शरणं मम श्रीसद्गुरु शरणं मम श्रीसूत शरणं मम श्रीशुकदेव शरणं मम श्रीव्यास शरणं मम श्रीनारद शरणं मम श्रीकुमार शरणं मम श्रीब्रह्मा शरणं मम श्रीविष्णु शरणं मम श्रीपरब्रह्म शरणं मम श्रीविष्णु श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम शरणं मम शरणं मम श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव मूकं करोति वाचालं वंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं स्वर्गे सत्ये च कैलासे वैकुण्ठे नास्त्यन्रसः अतः पिबन्तु सद्भाग्याः मामामुञ्चदकर्हिषित् ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ श्रीकृष्णपरब्रह्मणे नमः श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् एकादशस्कन्धः मुक्तिर्हित्वा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः अथ द्वाविंशोऽध्यायः श्रीभगवानुवाच Having saluted all the gods and gurus, praying to them. What is prayed to them for? What we need. What do we need? We need moksham. But where are the steps start for the moksham? The very first level. First and foremost is, again, as we are seeing last 2-3 days, the sukshmata of our mana buddhi or our antakarna or mainly our buddhi. With that sukshma buddhi, whatever is taught or told in the shastra about what is reality and how the Maya is playing the havoc of creating all this imaginary world and binding us. To first of all listen and understand this truth, the intellect has to be subtle. This is only theory, is it not? Like in any problem in the world of the health, what do they do first with their subtle intellect? Why this symptomatic thing that is happening? The fears that are happening to the entire people of the town or village or nation. Then they discover the virus, whatever is there. That is only first discovery with their sattva guna or sukshma buddhi. That exactly they diagnosed. This is the reason for which the diseases are coming. Then more important will be their next target of discovering both the vaccine as well as medicine. How much their intellect has to very subtle to inquire about it. There's so many medicines which don't have so many diseases which don't have. Some of them don't have a vaccine, some of them don't have medicine. The cancers, the AIDS, they don't have medicine so far. कितने साल हो गए 30 40 साल हो गए 40 50 60 years हो गए कुछ कुछ डिसीज कवर करके बट द एक्सपेरिमेंट्स आर गोइंग ऑन in the same way what we have to ask the Lord is to give us that sukshma buddhi which will make us understand exactly the source of problem thoroughly pakka clearly. Then also the Lord let him bless me, bless us with the subtle intellect also to understand the solution. Discover and understand solution. That is how the buddhi has to be there. Solution. But more important than these two is the third one. After understanding, discovering solution, then applying that solution. The strength, stamina required to apply a solution because at that time the revolt from the earlier natural way of life at the Dehendriya Manabuddhi level is so strong that many a times we even get defeated only in trying to apply what we have understood. But again, that is what we are praying to Lord. Give strength, O Lord, also to apply successfully. Success in application, success because of application. So that we get that liberation. O Lord, please bless us. Then from inner and outer source, Bhagavan only will give us the ideas as to how our prayers are answered. So he tells us this is how you behave, this is what you do, this is what you have a discipline. With this, the intellect which you have asked is given to you. I can't give generally to a Sukshma Buddhi to everyone. I give Buddhi to everyone and I give the rough and tough surfaces in the world. You rub your Buddhi against it and you become sharpened. Is it not? Like, for example, unless I avoid the tamo rajoguni bhojanam, rajoguni vicharana, tamo rajoguni vyavahara, how can tamo rajo go away from us? Unless we take sattva-guna bhojanam, very less quantity, unless we entertain sattva-guna thoughts, as well as vyavahara also sattva-guna, how can the sattva-guna of the buddhi increase? And unless with mana buddhi we do upasana, sadhana, japa, how can the ekagrata come to it? Unless we learn the art of pausing without reaction and starting to think, unless we do, how do we develop the sukshmata of the buddhi? See, the shuddhata buddhi, ekagrata buddhi, sukshmata of the buddhi. Without this, you can't even come and sit in the class. Forget about listening. Even if you come, here also you need for that. You are doing, some of you. Every one of you are attempting. Few are more than 40 30% succeeding. Some are really wonderful to do all that. Shuddhata, ekagrata, sukshmata, buddhi. Then only exactly what is a root cause of problem is understood. Then only the solution is understood. Then the understood solution is applied. Then one gets out of not only the cocooning of all limitations, but also into the vast, ampler. experience of our limitless infinitude. This is theory, experienced by all Mahatmas. So we also are first accepting it, the theory, and practicing, and one day we also realize. We realize not to become Mahatma, we realize to get out of bondage. Beautiful. So give us that. And all Shastras are doing that job only. They are helping us to trace the problem, find solution, apply it. And among all those topics, Bhagavad Purana is so beautiful. But again and again we are saying you in 2, 3, 4 readings only we start becoming familiar. उससे तादाद में होना है. यानी गाना पहले बार सुनते हो तो ना लिरिक्स ना म्यूजिक पूरा पकड़ में आता है. When you listen 10 times then you become familiar, then वो गुनगुनाना अपने आप होता है अंदर से. Any place when you go, first time it is all confused, but 10 बार चलो तो पता चलता है. So to such topics when repeatedly repeated in listening and studying, then we become familiar with that. देखो बिना जितना ज़रूरत है उतना प्रयत्न किए, नहीं समझ में आ रहा मुझे, मेरे से नहीं हो सकता, इट इज़ नॉट डिफीटिंग एनीवन, इट इज़ सेल्फ डिफीट. देन डोंट ब्लेम फॉर दैट द लॉर्ड और द शास्त्र और द गुरु कि आप ऐसे कठिन हो कि हमको समझ में नहीं आ रहा. हाउ कैन इट बी कठिन? संसार इज मोर कठिन देन द आध्यात्मिकता. आई वी नॉट मेड इट इजी विथ अवर रेगुलर डेली प्रैक्टिस. Then let us do this also. Means study Bhagavatam daily, listen Bhagavatam daily. Then go on thinking about that throughout the day. Then the gist of it comes. Without putting all this effort, how can it be? And without putting such efforts, the complete benefit of Bhagavata to transform us into Bhagavata will not come. Keep those things in mind. Now, in this chapter 22, Bhagavan Sri Krishna telling through Uddhava to all of us as to exactly what he said in Gita Adi, everything is done by Prakriti, but I think I am the doer by identifying with Prakriti. Therefore, all the karma phala are tying to me, binding me. प्रकृते गुण प्रकृते क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः. प्रकृतेः गुणैः सर्वशः कर्माणि क्रियमाणानि. Chapter 3. But ahankara vimudatma, the one who is deluded with the doership, karta aham iti manyate. But gunakarma vibhagayoha tattvavittu e mahabaho gunaah gunesh vartanti matva na sajjate. प्रकृते गुणसम्मूढ़ाः सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तान् अकृष्णवित्तो मन्दान् कृष्णविद् नवशालयेत्. These 27, 28, 29 shlokas of chapter 3 very clearly tell us. This chapter, Bhagavan Krishna is educating us in this. And in this, first tough thing is you have to gather the information, what is exactly said. Then, first, what is said, theory will understand. Then you will see it in your own life. अरे वो वाकई भगवान कृष्ण जो कह रहे हैं वही तो हो रहा है. Then in that diagnosis of problem or what is happening only, there is solution. इस तरह से मैं फंस रहा हूं क्या, तो ऐसे बाहर आना है. देखो, the day when we realize this is how I am bound to Prakriti and this is how I have to get liberated out of it, that day you can make it as your birthday. You can make it as your day where the Bhagavan and Guru has blessed us. देखो खुद कहाँ फंस रहे, कैसे फंस रहे, we don't know. We imagine the world and God is binding us and then we go on fighting with them. क्या कर रहे हैं हम यहाँ? Okay, now each of these sloka in this particular chapter, Narayana, Om, 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 is to be thoroughly investigated and understood. And as Gurudev again and again says in lectures, don't trust or believe me. Means what? You use your intellect and understand for yourself. I am telling what is my experience, no doubt. I am telling you the Shruti, no doubt. That's the experience of all the masters. But it is ours. But you make it yours. Then only you do it, believe it. Think. That's why pause and think, rethink. He used to always do like this. And a highest, greatest master never gives any blessing to disciple other than giving chabi to his right, authentic, scripture-oriented thinking. Once the disciple or sadhaka or jiva or samsari sets himself in the using of intellect to think on the ways of Shastra, that's called as Shravanam, Mananam, Vicharanam, contemplation, he will find himself all the solution for all problems. If once he is set into that, then the Guru just stands apart, comes with you. Whenever we are falling in any of the ditches, tries to protect us. He helps us in that way. But the real blessing of Guru is to give us the guidance to understand only with the intellect. Khud karo, samjho. So every of these slokas, one has to investigate and find in oneself the truth in it, the reality in it. It is true for Bhagavan Krishna. He spoke, that is why. Oh, the jhoot to bolte nahi ho. So we have to make it true for ourselves by our own understanding. Okay. What did he say? Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, first one, 36. Though we have seen three or four slokas, again we will explain it. Manaha karma mayam drunam indriyai panchabhiryutam lokat lokam prayati anyaha atma tadanuvartate. Yesterday we said it. Karma mayam manaha. Mana which is filled with the vasanas behind it. From the vasanamaya kosha only mana expressed. Without vasanas, there will be no mana. So for the expression of the mana, there is a vasana causa. And the variety in which way the mana is expressing at that time. What vrittis it has got, rajasic, tamasic, sattvic, that also depending on karmamayam. So first to understand this sentence, manaha karmamayam nrunam. And that mana, indriyahi panchavihi yutam. Endowed with pancha indriyas, associated with the pancha indriyas, getting contacted with pancha indriyas. And where from pancha indriyas came? Same prakriti they came. Even in the process, you can say they have come from its own, the mind only. So the mana, which has vasanas behind it, along with the pancha koshas, tadatmya, that is the mana, lokat lokam prayati. That is what goes from loka to the aloka, one loka. In that loka, loka means after death going to one loka and entering to one body, living there and then leaving that body, going another place. This is one meaning. Another meaning is even every day when we are experiencing, each experience is called as loka. And who is experiencing each of that loka? Mana with indriyas only. But I, the jiva, though can be detached from it as a sakshi and get identified with essential self, though he can do that, he is not doing. And not only is not doing that, but is getting attached to the manas, travel from one place to the other with indriyas. Therefore, he is experiencing all the manas gati as if it is his own. Now, what will happen if he starts detaching? Then slowly the mana running from one place to other, the causes for the mana to run from one place to other is reduced because the vasanas go away. Is it not? Then he can recognize his essential stature, nature, and stay in that. Here in this loka, the Atma is I, the individuality, the Jiva, not the Parama Atma. Paramatma is all pervading. He is only facilitator. In his presence, each of the upadhi gains its capacity to work in its own field. That Paramatma is our Lakshya. We are here talking about the Jiva going from one experience to the other while living only. Is when the mind and Indriyas are going, he goes with them. Same Jiva, so much identified with Indriya Mana, after this Deha is left, wherever the Indriya Mana are going, he is going. Actually, who are going are they. He thinks he is going because he is identifying with them. What a perfect thought, see. Karmamayam manaha, indriyaihi vanchavihi yutam manaha, lokat lokam prayati. Anyaha atma, atma is other than that. Here atma is jiva. But he goes with them only tad anuvartate. This is moha. We have to question here why I am running where the mind is going. Why should I? The moment you start questioning, we start becoming sadhaka. Then the moment we stop going behind the mind, actually it is Drashta Bhava and Sakshi Bhava. You can see the mind and Indriyas also receding from going from one अनुभव to the other. Then the मन इंद्रियों का काम ही नहीं रहेगा क्योंकि वो जा नहीं रहे हैं कहीं. Then that slowly leads to the jiva entering into that samadhi avastha, where he is stationary and stagnant. He is not associated with the mind. But that's only intermediate exercise. But finally, this jiva should discover his own swarupa. What is the discovery of swarupa by the jiva? Jiva is pratibimba of the Chandra or Surya in the water. He should discover that he is not independent of other than apart from the bimba. How it happens? A miracle will happen. When the water in the bucket is thrown, suddenly the bimba, pratibimba goes away. Where it goes away? I told you the other day, 7 days back. It will not go into the balti, it is not going to the water. Where will it go? Then what is left other than the balti and water? The Surya, therefore it goes to him only, we have to say. So too, the expression of Jiva Bhava of ours through the Upadhi. When the Upadhis are dropped, where is Jiva goes? Into the Paramatma only, whose reflection was this Jiva in these Upadhis. In other words, the river merges in ocean. In other words, the Jiva Bhava discovers itself to be the Atma Anubhava. When the reflecting medium is dissolved of the what that's what is the sadhana done where the reflective medium called antakarana first purified, made single pointed, then absolutely balanced and dropped. When you drop or transcend the upadhi of the antakarana, you are no more jiva, but the atma remains always. So you remain, you become that, you discover that to be yourself. So manaha karmamayam nonam indriyaihi panchabihi yutam lokat lokam prayati lokat lokam prayati anyah atma tad anuvartate. Self is something other than, still tad anuvartate because of the identity with it. That identity we have to slowly start breaking through the sakshi bhava, प्रतिपक्ष भाव और वैराग्य भाव कि इसकी जरूरत नहीं करके. This is the essence in this shloka. Feel it. Then discover it in your own contemplation. I am the self. With the upadhi, I became jiva. Upadhis, which are in prakriti, do the variety of activities because of vasanas. Then they go to one world to other. Then I am also associated with them. I go. Now, this is actually it's a 80-70% explanation. Other percent is what we have to add to this is what? But the mana indriya also cannot work without the owner of it called as jiva, is it not? Therefore, though here the blame is put on the mana indriya that they are going and this jiva is going with them, without jiva's permission, how will they go? So this all one set we have to understand. The vasana, the mana, the indriya, the jiva bhava, a one set. Like five fingers together hold the things. They one set. Though they appear different and sometimes each of them do different work. सब सब काम नहीं करते हैं, जरूरत भी नहीं है. You know, all put together do some work of lifting an object. Sometimes अकेले ही काम करेंगे. जब चंदन लगाने तो ये उंगली आप यूज करोगे. किसी को उंगली दिखाना है तो पूरा हाथ नहीं दिखाते, ये ऐसे तर्जनी करते हैं. किसी दोस्ती करनी है तो थम्सअप करते हो. But all put together. In the same way, all put together is this bondage. Vasanas, from there the mind and indriyas coming and functioning accordingly. But vasanas are jada prakriti. They must belong to some Chaitanya Purusha, that is Jiva. Clear? So Jiva through Mana Indriya, doing karma and getting the vasanas. Influenced by vasanas, the Jiva continues to be Jiva. Influenced by vasana, the Mana expresses, Indriyas expresses. Because of vasana only again, the Jiva gets identified with that too. In fact, in our everyday life, every activity what do we do is like this. Whether a noble activity or ignoble activity. It's the noble activity of your own doing puja every day. So you, the jiva, did earlier the puja with mana indriya, then that entered into vasana kosha. Then the vasanas have created the puja yukta mana and puja yukta indriya. Same vasanas created you, the pujari. Same vasanas push you to to use that mana indriya to do puja. Noble activity. So to a drunkard. Is it not? He had drink. Then those vasanas are made. Then those vasanas at that time push him to have that mind of drinking, that indriyas of drinking. And he also becomes a jiva of drunkard nature. Then he is associated with that mind's thought. Then he goes and does the action. This is the mechanism of how the things are happening in Prakriti. Then identified by the jiva. Thus, he also gets a part, he becomes a part of it, then he also gets the result of it. Therefore, where we have to break? Everywhere. What are the things? Vasanas we have to reduce. Mana indriyas, runnings we have to run behind it, should not run behind it. Then the jivas, what do you say, the jiva bhava also have to withdraw. Jiva bhava withdraw through jnana margam. Then the vasanas we reduce by karma yoga. Mana indriya we control by the bhakti yoga. Vasanas reduced by karma yoga as well as ashtanga yoga. All that set we have to slowly reduce. Then to that extent, we will be coming out of this Bhayankara Maya where which is creating Jiva Bhava in me, Mano Indriya in me, and making me run toward this world. Because of which I am not become aware of the essential self on which all these are superimposed. Manaha karmamaya nrunam, karmamayam nrunam. Then indriyi panchaviryutam lokat lokam prayati anyaha atma tad anuvartate. We go behind it, identify. Which atma anuvartate? Jiva atma, not Paramatma. But I am do Paramatma, but I don't take myself as Paramatma, I take as Jivatma. So I go Jivatma jata hai. Then how this is starting or where we can start reducing or controlling all this drama. Like anything in the world, कोई smuggling हो रहा है. So the whole thing, people, police and all of them, बेचारे they try, but these smugglers or terrorists they are so smart and intelligent. They work not on the strength of the police or the management. They work on the weaknesses of them. Which place they don't patrol much, which are the hours they don't come. You know, these are the weaknesses they see, and there they start all those type of mafias, all those things. Suddenly one day you just see somewhere it happened, then you inquire कहाँ से शुरू हुआ करके, फिर कहाँ से काटना उसको. In India or the world, like this, behind the scene world, hundreds and thousands of such type of atrocities are all these क्या कहते हैं उसको, all these कुंभकोणम कहते हैं in Telugu. Scams are going on happening. Everything is scamming only here. You know, if you, in fact, thank God, you and I, ordinary people, are in our own puja, little work and salary and all. But if you are given an unnecessary curiosity to inquire into, everywhere there are scams going on. Terrible. When they देखकर बेहोश हो जाएंगे हम. समझ, it will be very painful to see that. Then you will never trust the world later on. पूरा असत्य असत्य चलता है, पता चलता है. Very भयंकर. But I'm just giving an idea. आपको डर आने के लिए नहीं. Then I'm just telling, when it is known, then all the departments of government, they involve and slowly find the entire thing. कहाँ से शुरू हुआ? So the drugs are being used. Who is the one? Who is the peddler? Who is the one? Where from it is starting? Or even what's happened in Delhi recently. And then that procession happened, then stone pelting, and today also pelting. Some shooting also happened. Then they are investigating who is the main culprit, who has started it, and then how to arrest it. They have intelligently, today also, the other day also, carefully. The police tried and controlled to a great extent. They are seen to go out of the hand. They stopped it from going out of the hands. We have to observe all that. So here also, very clearly, we should know where it is starting from. This entire samsara, where I am creating vasanas, I am influenced by vasanas, under the influence of vasanas, I am becoming a jiva, as a jiva with the mana indriyas. I am living the life at the level of mana indriya along with its sankalpas and perceptions and experiences. And in this heavy drama of this thing, my real essential self is so much hidden away that I don't even believe that I am that. I'm not even ready to listen that I am that. Like a child or anybody who's addicted to a drink and all, उसको तुम कहो कि बेटा ऐसा नहीं होता, तीर्थ क्षेत्र में जाके नहा के वहाँ उपासना पूजा जब ध्यान करो, ही विल लाफ एट यू. उसका चेहरा देखो आप कैसा रहता है. So too we are into this intoxication of living life as a jiva at the level of indriya and mana, that when we are told about something other, higher, beyond, greater, diviner, nobler, हम तो उसको देख हंस जाते हैं. In the Kali Yuga, unfortunately, maximum are like that. Some do little upasana and puja, they think everything is in that. Mhm. We have to understand. So, in the mantra 37, Dhyayan manonu vishayan drustan vanushrutan atha udyat sidat karma tantram smrutistatanushamyati. That's what. Karma tantram manaha again. The mind, karma tantram, which is the product of the vasanas and also behaves as the vasanas say. Such mana, what it does? Vishayan anudhyayan. It goes on doing the sankalpa of the Vishayans only. Two are the sources for the Vishaya Dhyanam. What is Drushtan? Always in Sat Shastras, Vedanta, when the two words are used, Dushtan and other is Shrutan, generally we understand Shrutan means by heard by ears. Dushtan means that's seen by the eyes. But the technically in the Shastriya language, Drushtan means all the things that are belonging to this physical world where we are living at present. Shrutan means all the other worlds which are told to us that we travel there after death by the Vedas, which are not seen now. By Vedas, by the Puranas, they talk about the worlds beyond. They are called Shruta. Drushtais which are in front of us. स्वर्ग आदियों का सुनकर कान से और आंख से देखकर अपने सामने वाले जगत को. Those विषयास he does the ध्यानम. So ध्यायन मनः अनुध्यायन मनः विषयान दृष्टान वा अनुश्रुतान. It goes on, what is saying, brooding over them, contemplating upon them, imagining about them. Somebody told, well, the wonderful thing has come into the town, let us go and see. Then the mind starts, after listening that, thinking about it, planning about it. Then you just say, kya karna jarurat nahi. Then the other person or same person will call you and say, did you go or not? Such a beautiful thing, only 3 दिन hai. Then you somehow manage your time and you go there. First you think in the mind and all. So, drishtan shrutano. Manahanu Vishayan. That's what. Therefore, by saying so, which is a fact, he is so giving a solution also here. That ears and eyes, don't give them for listening about the Vishayas, seeing the Vishayas. Then the mind, which is subtler, will get that data for itself to brood over them. Then it gets the desire in about them. All that happens inadvertently, like my किसी ने accident किया, you cannot particularly answer it. Any answer you give, it's only incidental. But actually at that time उसके माया इतना अंदर आ गया कि उसने ब्रेक नहीं दबाया या ब्रेक की जगह एक्सीलेटर दबाया और स्टीयरिंग थोड़ा ज़्यादा लेफ्ट घुमाया, you went and hit that culvert only. In the same way, it is so powerful that Maya, it just makes the mind to do sankalpa and desire of whatever it has heard from ears and seen with the eye. Then once that stage of mind sankalpa comes, no, it is so tough to do the vikalpa of it. It just starts slipping from the hand to become or to make that sankalpa as desire as insistence, and to such an extent without that desire, I'll die only, I must have it. And that way it does few times, then it becomes a habit toward, later on it will not even consult the buddhi whether this sankalpa is right or not, whether it's the sound heard by the ear, form seen by the eyes, are they are not right or not? Should I think about it or not? Should I do sankalpa of it or not? Should I have that desire or not? ये सब सोचने वाला दिमाग को चांस ही नहीं मिलता. It becomes a habit to become the sankalpa karta with the mana, and that sankalpa becoming kamana, then using deha indriya to work to fulfill that kamana. That is what the whole lot, the jund of entire jivas, especially human, are becoming this way, karmi, backed by the kamana. So हम सब काम्य कर्मों के पीछे जा रहे हैं. All of us. So Vishayan dhyayan manaha anudhyayan drushtanva anushrutan. Therefore, reduce. That will be the conclusion of this chapter actually. कान से सुनना, आंख से देखना, विषयों का कम करो, फिर इंद्रियों से उसमें रमना, भोग करना. इतना करोगे, the vasanas become so thick that they push you into that only for lives together. Then we will never be able to quieten yourself, withdraw yourself, and see what exactly is behind everything. उस आध्यात्मिकता के लिए हम लायक बनेंगे ही नहीं. So, first line is said, while that's how doing dhyanam, udyata sidatu. That mind, when the indriyas are reporting to it something, the eyes or the ears, so immediately that time the mana is udyata, takes the janma in the form of that particular sankalpa. Then thereafter, what after fulfilling that activity, sidata, it ceases to exist. Exist means in that particular thought mode. Again, another thing is heard or seen from the eye, then immediately another way the mind is born. Sometimes the vasana themselves push the mana to do the sankalpa vikalpa. At that sankalpa time, that is born. Like particular mood or desire came. So mind is born in that form. Then you fulfill it, then appears that that mind is gone. But another thought comes up, anger. Then the mind become angry. Then you show that anger. Then that angry mind gone away. Some greed mind, some lazy mind. This is how nirantaram udyasitato. Then smritihi tad anushamyati. Means what? Having done so, this whole smriti of what was being done earlier, at that particular moment, उसका लुप्त हो जाता है. Smriti. It may, depending on your intensity of involving in that activity, it may become a strong vasana. If not, it just becomes quieted. So, it is what I said here, two things. Therefore, this way, mind, when we strongly involve in the world, by creating deeper vasanas, it is binding us. Even if we are not strongly involving, but at that moment, it is taking sankalpa, doing something, dissolving, again taking sankalpa, doing something and quietening. ये उसको आदत हो गया. It's just like daily. Sleep night, सुबह उठो, नाश्ता बनाओ, खाओ, लंच बनाओ, खाओ, डिनर बनाओ, खाओ, सो जाओ, फिर सुबह उठो. इतना ही है जिंदगी. बीच में क्या करना है, क्या खाना है, सोचना. What else? Where to get what we have? कौन सा सीजन आया, तरबूज वाला, खरबूज वाला, आम वाला. Other than that, we don't even think like that. So, in this way, indriyayana sorry, ध्यायन मनोन विषयान दृष्टान वानुश्रुतान अथ उद्यत सीदत कर्म तंत्रम स्मृति तद अनुशाम्यति. Now, the birth and death are beautifully defined here. Excellent topic this is. In fact, if one understands this, one understands that the body is not born, the jiva is not born, atma is never born. Body is only mixture of pancha mahabhutas. Jiva is entry and exit. Atma is eternally there. It need not be born. So too the body gets dissolved into panchakosha. You can't call it a death. Jiva goes from this to the other. You can't call here as a death. Atma is deathless. First, this is all theory. Then everybody is raised to experience the birthless, deathless eternity. That is there only in the identity of the self. So to identify the self, you have to get rid from the jiva bhava. To get rid from the jiva bhava, what is that sustaining my jiva bhava? We have to understand. It is the upadhi tadatmya. And how the upadhi tadatmya continuously going on because of our value importance given to the world of shabda sparsha rupa sagandha as well as sankalpa vikalpa. तो उनको छोड़ो तो उपाधियां छूट जाएंगे. उपाध्याय छोड़ो तो जीव भाव goes away. जीव भाव goes away. Atma bhava, atma sadhana, atma anubhava, they will come. This we have to be very clear about. Now, Vishayabhinimeshena na atmanam yat smaret punaha jantorvai kasyachit hetoho mrityuh atyanta vismrutihi. So, interesting. Hmm? Vishaya Abhiniveshana. Either Vishaya means new body. Abhinivesha is fully engrossed in identity with that. Na Atmana means the earlier body. Yet na smaret punaha. When he not doesn't remember or forgets, jantoha. Why it happens? Kasyachit hetoho. Like specific reason I will not say, but there is some reason. The reason at individual level is each one's vasanas, and the total level it's called as Maya. Kasyachit hetoho, jantoho, then mrityuhu. That's called mrityu, where atyanta vismritihi. Total forgetfulness of the earlier body because of total identification of this body is called as his death with that body, the jiva. In that way, if you define, every day we are dying to the so many pasts, are all born to the new present so many times. So, Vishaya Abhiniveshena na Atmanaya Smaretmana. Vishaya Abhinivesha means identify with this body. Now, it's like any friend. So thick you are with him. But somehow, with some transfer reason, he has gone somewhere else. Some place you will feel bad, वगैरह वगैरह. In the meantime, नया बंदा आ गया. You start developing friendship with so much you move with him. देखते देखते पहले वालों को भूल ही जाते. हो ही जाता है. If I ask you 35 years back, which scooter you had? What is number plate? Which one? In those days, Lambretta होते थे. Scooter with gears. Isn't it? Baby Rajdoot. I drove it in late 70s. छोटा होता था वो. Interesting it was. It used to make sound. Now they're all gone. Those the Lunas, TVS. एक लूना का आवाज सुन के गांव गांव उड़ता था. कोई आ रहा है विमान करके. Is only one owner of one Luna there. Luna 300 So many were there that time. If I ask you, do you remember? No, because new Abhinivesh. I ask you, which shirt you were wearing 20, 30 years back? याद ही नहीं रहेगा. उन दिनों में दैट शर्ट वाज सो मच लाइक्ड बाय यू. हर दिन धो के उसी को पहनते. कुछ लोगों का ऐसी आदतें होते थे. इज इट नॉट? आई एम गिविंग these examples only to say when the identity with the new body grows, the total forgetfulness of other body happens. That is called as death. Death is what? Atyanta vismriti. That's what death. Total forgetting is called death. So this way you do sadhana. This understanding itself is sadhana. And again, every body is protruded or created. Why? To eke out those samskaras or vasanas. This is all. So, as I'm telling you, these subjects are so vast, so sublime. इसमें इतने सारे चीज़ों को ऐड करके समझना पड़ता है. स्ट्रेट पॉइंट नहीं है. लाइक भगवान का नाम ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमो नारायण बोलो. या तीर्थ यात्रा में जाकर टेक डुबकी इन द वाटर एंड गो टू द लॉर्ड. It's not so easy like this Vedanta Vicharana. It has so many things to take into account, and using all of them, we have to understand the subject. Here, the position of Atma, position of Maya or Avidya, position of the Jiva Bhava, position of the Upadhis, and position of the Samskaras expressing some milkar samajna. And not impossible it is. Little difficult, but that's what we are starting to study Shastras to understand. But once that's understood, सारा पोल खुल जाता है. Then nothing can bind us. If we don't understand, everything will bind us. If we understand, nothing can bind. That state will come, undoubtedly. So, Vishaya Abhiniveshena, because Abhinivesha with the new Deha and the Vishayas, which are being consumed with the new Deha, the Atmanam Yat Smaret Punaha, he will not remember his earlier Deha. Janto vai kasyajit hetoho. But why he has got this new Deha and why he has got identified with that, the reasons are only Vasana. Exactly which one we can't tell you. But whatever completely, early one he forgets completely, that's called Mrityu. Just let me try to explain how a jiva when he leaves body. Some are naturally living people, some jiva, some though with pain they live. Many of them live with shock. Suddenly accident hota hai, khatal hota hai. There is a shock to them. It takes for hours for them to even imagine that they left the body. They try still to communicate to the people, and all the drama happens. It takes for them, especially the accident हुआ. Also, इसलिए in that place of accident, you see, the माहौल कुछ अलग ही होता है. These are all things you have to understand. When you know you are a jiva going from one body to other, डरना नहीं है. Nobody is troubling anybody unless one is very cruel. Everyone is working out his own spiritual evolution. Therefore, जीव देह छोड़कर है तो भूत प्रेत बन के हमको पकड़ेगा, ऐसा डरो मत. देह वही है, वो लोग हमको देख कर डरते हैं. हम हमारा अवलिया बदल गया. It takes hours for them accident. Shock. In different ways, that's how they are. Then as I told yesterday, 2000 back one person left the deha, still he has not got the body. Suitable for various reasons. आप बोल नहीं सकते उनको. कोई लोग 2 सेकंड पहले 2 मिनट पहले मरे, already is into other deha. Depends on those jivas process of evolution. Now, any animal also like that, I may be buffalo earlier life. Now I got into human deha, identified with this. I forgot that, therefore I am dead to that, I am born to this. And from human, I die to become something else depending on वासना. इसका मैं सब भूल जाता हूँ. इसको डेथ कहते हैं. वहाँ फिर जन्म लेते हैं. सो विषयाभिनिवेशेन न आत्मानं यत् पुनः जन्तोर्वै कस्यचित् हेतोः मृत्युः अत्यन्त विस्मृतिः. That's the mrityu. Otherwise, there is no mrityu to the deha, only mixes back into its own panchamahabhuta, and jiva bhava is going from one to the other. Indriyas mana also are going with him, whatever he has trained these mana indriya with their positive or negative habits. Then the samskaras anyway go. वासनास क्लियर. नाउ वर्ण क्या है बताया अभी. जन्म जन्मत्वात्मतया पुंसः सर्वभावेन भूरिद विषय स्वीकृतिं प्राहुः यथा स्वप्न मनोरथः. अर्लियर श्लोका दिस श्लोका द वर्ड यूज वाज विषय. से विषयाभिनिवेशेन इधर विषय स्वीकृति, हियर विषय मीन देह. So marana is what? The forgetting, the having total forgetfulness of that Vishaya called das Deha. So too, what is Janma? Janma tu Pumsaha Sarva Bhavena Atmataya Vishaya Sukritum Prahu. Accepting the new Deha as completely minor, fully engrossed, identified with it, is called as actually Janma. यथा स्वप्न मनोरथ, just like in the dream as well as in manoratha. Manoratha is even waking plane, some hallucinating thought you have. And some people, they're so perfect in those hallucination imagination कि बैठे बैठे ही उनको वो वाले ख्याल आके वो वाले अनुभवों का महसूस होता है. अदर्स पूछते हैं किस लोक में चले गए हो, अच्छा अच्छा ऐसा है क्या, ही comes back. So too in the dream, he gets a new deha, identifies that deha in the dream and conducts himself in that swapna jagat. Neither he remember this Sula Jagat Deha, nor the Swapna of the earlier Swapna, nor the Deha of the earlier Swapna. In the same way, we are identified into this Deha so much that we consider we are born. इतना इसमें तादाद होते हैं. And who help us to get fully identified with it is our own parents, all of them. They forcefully say, बेटा तुम्हारा कान किधर है, नाक किधर है, ये सब बता नहीं होता जीव को. बट वी आर ट्रेन्ड फ्रॉम चाइल्डहुड, यू आर देह पक्का बना के छोड़ते हैं हमको. Nobody teaches the child like Narada taught Prahlad in the womb. You are Bhakta, you are Paramatma Sarupa, or you are your job is only to take the Narayana Nama. He gave it. This child born, he never considered himself Deha, etc. And remember, even though some knowledge, samskaras are there, good ones, earlier life, before he is born, some of them are getting faded away. Very powerful ones remain. Why? Because that Naraka take up of staying in the mother's womb and all, it makes him forget. Even a yogi, Mahayogi of this life, in the next life, exactly everything he'll not carry. ये जो उस योनि में जो होते हैं ना नरक वाला, वो इतना परेशान करते हैं उस जीव को, वो एक्चुअली ही इज डिफरेंट. Like when you are caught up in any of such dark place or any of the, do you remember all your wisdom or what? आधा तो भूल ही जाते हैं बाहर आते आते. All the jivas, though he comes with I'll do sadhana and all, every jiva thinks. But then that narakatara जो क्या ना बुलवाते, and as he's born from that, like Indians got freedom from the Britishers, immediately all their suppression, repression, so much came out. They became so indulgent within 40-50 years. The whole desha became bhautikavad. Entire culture, spirituality is almost lost. So many guru rishis are trying, and if they try superficially, it's all there. In the Atma of the Adhyatmikata, Atma of the Hinduism, we have lost. Even the so-called claiming Hindu organizations, how many of them studied Shastra? How many of them know the ultimate goal or the means? How many of them thoroughly understand what is the reason behind every of the culture or sampradaya? In the same way, the jiva from that naraka, when he comes out, and he was loved by all of that, उनको इतना अच्छा लगता है, with all whatever sankalpas he came, that I'll discover my essential self. He postpones it to next life. Only in the old age again, all that he remembers. I wasted my life. I should have done this, study that sadhana. And this Beowulf is not first time. We are expert in that. Every life we do that. And then another बेवकूफ़ी, दैट अभी मैं बूढ़ा हो गया हूँ, कुछ नहीं कर सकता अगले जन्म में. अब तो अकल आया, उसको उसको फिर अपने बेवकूफ़ी से निकालो मत. जितना हो सके उतना करो. डोंट पोस्टपोन इट. अनदर चीटिंग इट इज. एज वी चीटेड आवरसेल्व्स भाई, अभी क्या जल्दी है, लेट मी इंडल्ज. इन द ओल्ड एज द चीटिंग इज, अब नहीं कर सकता हूँ, लेट मी डू नेक्स्ट लाइफ. एंड वी पक्का करूंगा, प्रॉमिस, मदर प्रॉमिस, गॉड प्रॉमिस. Tomorrow, like the children, when they say, tomorrow, mommy, I'll do homework. Nala hai gaya wo, he is cheating you because homework is not done tomorrow. It is done today, now. Is it not? Now. And you know the beauty? We have believed the Guru and God, even though we have not done any sadhana. Toward the end of life, if you get that sankalpa and do whatever little, it gives such a big result. That's what Ajamila. He did a worst life, he lived only. Okay. But toward the end, he just remembered the name of Lord, which is his own son's name. Was that not? It was enough for him to free from Mrityu and all. By the way, अंडरस्टैंड इसको, छोड़ो मत करना. जब याद आए तब, यद हरे विरजेत तद हरे प्रव्रजेत. जब भगवान का नाम याद आए तभी ले लो. whenever you remember the श्लोक तभी चैंट करो. जब भी मन में पूजा आया, नहा लो, जाकर पूजा करो. इस तरह we have to go on adding to our sadhana whenever it's possible. Then only after some lives we become committed to do without compromising. At the later line only, this alone becomes whole occupation, no other thing. Like you and I are reaching to that level now. No other occupation nowadays, if you see, other than the 6 classes per day. This is how the sadhaka grows. You and I are the example. But then this every moment again danger for me to stop classes and fall down, for you to stop coming to classes and fall down. रिस्क तो हर क्षण में है. उसको आने नहीं देते हुए when I continue. In the next life, more than speaking to you, I'll be in my own contemplation. You also more than listening, you will be in your own contemplation because the data is gained. Like the 2-3 lives we do along with our prarabdha, then in the fourth life, the pakka, the meditation ban jata hai, in that you just transcend all the stula jagas, stula dehendra upadhi, and stula mana upadhi, stula jiva bhava, sukshma andar jiva, then you know what it's the reality. तथास्तु. इसी जन्म में हो जाए तो और बढ़िया है. So the death is forgetfulness of the earlier body. Birth is totally identifying with the new body. And then for whom these two are? The jivas. Jiva. Did he born or died? Never born when the earlier body died. Never died when the earlier body died. He is not born when the new body is born. विचार करो, सोचो और भी. And that should help us for both. Remove the fear of death and not to identify or attach with anything of the present day. And any number of dehas are given, feel clearly that in each deha I have to travel little more towards my essential nature. Keep that agenda pakka. Then we become sadhaka in each life. If that agenda is missed, then everything else becomes agenda which will bind us for millions of lives. हम वही कर रहे हैं शास्त्रों के द्वारा. मे भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा होगा, मे भी पूरा इंस्पिरेशन नहीं है, मे भी पूरा साधना नहीं हो रहा, बट परमात्मा alone is लक्ष्य. दैट इज व्हाट इफ यू रीड ऑल द भक्ति शास्त्रास, कि कोई भी जन्म दो भगवान, मुझे आपके चरण से दूर मत रखना. सी दैट मेच्योरिटी. एंड वाई जन्म दो? बिकॉज माई प्रारब्ध मेक्स मी गेट दैट. बट माई प्रार्थना टू यू, योर ग्रेस टू मी, इज लेट मी रिमेंबर यू. Is it not? That is our goal. That's our agenda. The agenda of you and I must be only reaching God or goal. बाकी सारे एजेंडा है नॉट पक्का परफेक्ट करेक्ट वाले बाइंड करते हैं हमको. इवन द एजेंडा ऑफ गेटिंग सिद्धीज, गोइंग टू द हायर वर्ल्ड्स, बिकमिंग इंद्र चंद्र, ये सब भी अल्टीमेट नहीं है. वो लोग वहाँ रो रहे हैं अननेसेसरली आई बिकेम लाइक दिस, आई शुड हैव डिस्कवर्ड माई सेल्फ करके. First to discover self, thereafter as an instrument in the hands of Lord, anywhere you are placed as Indra Brahma, you enjoy without getting. That is why there are some Indras who are Jivan Mukta and doing the Indra work. There are some Indras are Baddha because they want only Indra Pada, not Mukti. And they are the ones who are always in the frightened situation. This Indra, Brahma, these are all the positions. They are not individuals like Prime Minister, President. They are not individual. They are positions. Whoever are the qualified one, they are made to sit there. So to whoever are qualified, they sit there. The jivas evolve. They are all positions. Indra, Varuna, Vayu, Agni. ये सब पोजिशन होते हैं. जीव वहां तक चले जाते. फिर वो जो पहले थे वो कहाँ जाते हैं? They evolve toward the truth, reality. But as long as they are in those positions, they do the duty what is given to them. Anybody be MLA, he does what is supposed to be done. But that person is not MLA. MLA is a post. समझ लेना इस बात को. Now comes स्वप्नम मनोरथम चेत्थम प्राक्तनम न स्मरत्यसौ तत्र पूर्वम इव आत्मानम अपूर्वम च अनुपश्यति. That is what. How I forget that I was continuing from the earlier life. That is the स्वप्नम मनोरथम च इत्थम प्राक्तनम न स्मरति असौ. So today's dream, if I am in earlier dreams, my body I don't remember. So to today's Manoratha, what khayal I have, that I don't remember the next earlier days are जो पहला हुआ खत्म हो जाता है. In the same way, hmm, hmm, so too we have entered into this, fascinated by it. Therefore, we don't remember the earlier one. Which one? The dehas. But identifying because of the deha, we forget our continuity also. Therefore, tatra purvamiva, tatra purvam means dehas are different, but he is same one. But atmanam apurvamiva cha anupashyati. देखो, the same fellow is continuing, but he forgets because of deha tadatmya. Apurvamiva pashyati means he thinks he is a fresh one. What is being explained here by this? The deha and jiva are separate. When the jivas identify deha, with that deha, whatever the anubhavas come, that is what he enjoys in that particular life. First point. Second, when the time of the prarabdha deha is over, then he leaves the deha, gets into new one. When he gets into new one, he forgets the earlier deha completely, that was the death. He identifies a new deha, that's called as birth. But because of his habit of identifying the dehas, he forgets that he was the same one who was there in the earlier deha also. Means his continuity forgets. His continuity that earlier deha also he was there, means earlier also he was there, he forgets. And he goes on talking, when the body is born, that is my birthday. That is my death day, if I die. Others note that, I don't note it. Don't we do like that? बर्थ डेट कहते हैं, हैप्पी बर्थडे कहते हैं, बट हैप्पी बर्थडे नहीं है. डेज आर संडे, मंडे, ट्यूसडे, वेडनेसडे. व्हाई डू दे से हैप्पी बर्थडे? आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड. इट इज बर्थ डेट. डे तो सेम नहीं होता. यू आर बॉर्न ऑन संडे, बट दिस ईयर योर बर्थडे वाज 22nd, जो भी दिन है दैट इज मंडे है. तो हाउ कैन यू से सेम डे? I think you should say birth date, no? Happy birthday to you. Only date is celebrated. Month is different. Year is different. Week, that week of the day is also different. But anyway, that's a different subject. कैसा हुआ? इस तरह से होता है. तत्र पूर्वम, that he was there earlier also, but apurvamima atmanam, as if he is afresh and new, anupashyati, he feels like that. Now this shackle we have to break. The habitual thing which are imposed also on us by others, that with the birth everybody is born, that is to be broken. With birth, every jiva is identifying with new deha. In the earlier death, he detached from this earlier deha. He never died when the deha was given up, nor is born when the new body is given to him. I have also, that's what we have to understand. So I am continuous. As I told you, it removes the fear of death. And it also gives up our mamata with this deha and all. क्योंकि जब पता चला ना अभी छोड़ना ही जाना है, शाश्वत नहीं है, पकड़ उतना नहीं होता. And I'm telling you the sad facts of the world. You love so much somebody, है ना? I love. Suddenly that person को कुछ हो गया. He is hospitalized. So much pain, dukkha come to me. कि how can I live without that person and all? Crying and profusely. Anybody comes, you cry in front of them so much. But once the doctor tells, इनका मरना इनका जीना मुश्किल है, he will die. You know what happens in the mind? Slowly, that dukkha, that insistence, he should live, etc., gets reduced. Along with that, if the hospital charges are increasing, then slowly the mind comes, says, सारे सोना बेच दिया, जमीन बेच दिया, जायदाद बेच दी, and the doctors are going on. क्योंकि when you go to a corporate hospital, ICU cost 70,000 per day. They say instrument 30,000, medical doctors 20, 1 lakh भी कैसे per day. You put him in 1 month there, you already 40 lakhs gone. What do you have money? That also adds to that. Thereafter, you don't. In the meantime, you can see the face of the person fading away, changing. Attachments go away. Then you know what happens when dies that अच्छा हो गया मर गया नहीं तो इतना सफर कर रहा था. It is right or wrong, good or bad, papa or punya. I'm not telling that. How the mind gets changed or molded. In the same way, when I know this body is not permanent, I will not identify with this that much. And is it not only Dehatadhatne which is making me bhogi, after that rogi, and never allowing me to become a yogi? That's what is said. भैया तुम्हारे प्रारब्ध के अनुसार शरीर चलेगा, ज्यादा फंसो मत उसमें, अपना उत्थान का कोशिश करो. ट्राई फॉर योर ओन रियलाइजेशन ऑफ द रियल सेल्फ. प्रारब्धं पुष्यति वपुः इति निश्चित्य निश्चलः धैर्यमालम्ब्य यत्नेन स्वाध्यासस्य अपनयं कुरु, my dear. To this body, if somebody will have to love, they love. Somebody have to sorrow, sorrow. If they have to beat you, beat you. All that is going to say in the last slokas. But also, you are a jiva. You are traveling from one day to the other. Every day you are identifying. And you are suffering all the things done by mana and indriya in that deha. Thus, you are only a miserable fellow. Why don't you withdraw yourself from your identity with all of them? Why don't you break the shackles of all your limitations? Why don't you discover your infinite nature? देखो. और ये हर जन्म में हर जीव को एक नहीं 100,000 बार होता है. But then that is overpowered by the other enchantments and vasanas. Therefore, again, he forgets this knowledge and gets into caught up that. But then, in every life, what he is slowly collecting these vairagyas. After 100 or 1,000 lives, they become so powerful or strong that really he says, no more I involve. How many of you in your own family, when they are fighting scheme, might have not thought, कितने ने सोचा कि let me go and stay in an ashram, let me give up everything and do my japa upasana. Everyone, when you get problems in world, All of us get that vairagya as well as spiritual thought. And you remember also that camp I went, oh, it was so excellent. The husband says कि इतना बढ़िया था तो था ही नहीं तुम नहीं थी. She also says I also enjoyed. दोबारा कब जा रहे हो? You know. But after that again she'll have to cook for him and he'll have to get for her. Then again फिर चिपक जाते हैं. Then they forget the camp वाला अगले जन्म postpone. But this thought Bhagavan gives such some of the such situation by which everyone thinks it. The most entertaining thing which I remember always was this. You know, when people come and say, स्वामी जी हम 80-70 साल पहले मेरे जिंदगी में होते कि मैं परमात्मा को जान लेता. अभी मैं कहा, भैया तुम्हारे 80 मैं तो जन्म ही नहीं लिया. Is it not interesting? Get out. That's what he says. Then Indriyayana Srushtyedam Traividyam Bhati Vastuni Mahirantarbhida Hetuhu Jano Sajjana Krut Yatha. देखो बहुत बढ़िया श्लोक है. इंद्रिय आयन सृष्टिया. Indriyas are Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, Antakarana. They are in totality, they are hanging everywhere. Sukshma Roop mein, unmanifest. But to each of us as an individual, how do we get all the Indriyas into us for our use? Only when we get the Deha. Therefore, Deha becomes Ayatana for all the Indriya and Antakarana. Therefore, Indriya Ayana Srushtiya means with the birth of the body, which is the Ayana abode or supporting place for the Indriyas. So, with the birth of the body, which is support for the Indriyas, Traividyam Bhati Vastuni. What is happening? In the real Vastu be the self. Because the birth of the Deha, after the birth, identification of the Deva on the Atma, in my own self, Traividyam Bhati. The three things that fall on me. What are the three? Subjectively, you see, this Jagrat Sapna Sushupti. Objectively, you see, the Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Devika. These triputis are imagined on the self. Okay, in the self they are not there. Imagine on the self after the birth and identification with the Deha, which is Ayatana for the Indriyas to stay. Indriya is all the 14 of the instruments. 10 Indriyas, 4 of the Antakarana. So Indriyayana Drushtya idam Traividyam Bhati Vastuni. Vastu is a self. In the self, none of them are there. Then how they are all imagined. It all starts from Dehosmi Bhava. And in the Deha, Indriyas are there. Then once the Indriyas come, they have to perceive the world. When the perceptions of the world happen, then the Jagrata Avastha comes. Those perceptions lead to impressions. Then it becomes Swapna Avastha. Then tired and exhausted, they go into the Laya of the Bija Avastha. We enter into Nidra. In all these three, what is happening? I, the one who is beyond these three avasthas, these three dehas, these three entities or individualities, जागृत स्वप्न सुषुप्त पुरुष, इनसे हटकर अलग जो मैं हूं उसका ख्याल ही नहीं है. पूरा ही is forgot. That is how we are all living. So Bhagavan Krishna, from the absolute state of being self, knowing how the jivas continue their jiva bhava by their vasanas, by their valuing the mind and senses, by their identifying the deha, by their indulging the shabda sparsha, how they are continuing. In each of the shloka, one thing he is saying. All the data he is saying now. लाइक घर में भी ना साफ सुथरा करना होता है, पहले कलेक्ट इकट्ठा करके रखते हैं क्या क्या करना है. सो कपड़े धोने का है, बर्तन धोने का है, और कुछ चीज संवारने का है, खाना बनाने का है. सो हाउ डू यू प्लान इट? सेम वे भगवान कृष्ण इज पुटिंग ऑल द थिंग्स इन फ्रंट ऑफ अस. देन यू अंडरस्टैंड. With the body, you have to dress the identification. With the mana, stop following its sankalpa vikalpa. With the indriya, stop fulfilling its demands. With the vasanas, try to get out of them. With the jiva bhava, understand that it is not reality. So with each one, we have to do one sadhana to get rid of the entire thing. लेकिन ट्रैफिक जैम, द पुलिस चलने वाले को इस तरफ जाने देगा, साइकिल वाले को उधर से, स्कूटर वाले तुम उधर जाओ कहेगा, देन ऑटो वाले को कहते गो दिस वे, कार वाले को बड़ा रास्ता देते हैं. Somehow it clears the traffic jam. In our life also, the samsara jam is there. All these things are put in front, and we have to be wise enough not only to understand, but slowly find the techniques to get out of each of these things. Then reach to the self. देखो, एंड आंख बंद कर कर इसको बहुत सोचना पड़ता है, तब जाकर क्लैरिटी आएगा. One by one, you take Deha, what it has contained, what Shastra says, the cause for its arrival, and why it is so. Data, samajhkar pakdo udhar. Then Indriya, then the Mana, the Vasana. Each of them you feel the understanding of them. So to I, the Jiva. And you will be surprised with this calm and quiet contemplation, how I am as a Jiva identify with all of them. Pakka samajh mein aa jata hai. Then you will slowly understand how to get rid of it. Like it's like this. I look at the phone, then I put it on, then I go to whatever the message box of the email or any of the Twitter account or anything, or I may go to the Telegram or whatever, or I may go to WhatsApp. Then I see the messages which are received. Then I get tempted to open them. Then I want to respond to them. And I reply. And as some other people, they have not spoken to me or messaged me. Let me find how they are. So I only message them. एक संसार बन रहा है कि नहीं वहाँ? व्हेन यू नो दैट, देन पहली बात क्या करूँगा मैं? फेंक दो फ़ोन बस। कुछ मेन इम्पोर्टेंट नंबर रखो, बाकी बकवास कोई ज़रूरत है किसी को बताएँगे, बताएँगे, उनको ज़रूरत है बताएँगे। होल संसार इज़ गॉन। आई एम जस्ट गिविंग एन आइडिया हाउ वी लुक एट इट, इन्वॉल्व इन इट, गेट बाउंड इन इट, दैट बिकम्स आवर लाइफ। देन इट वोंट स्टॉप एट वन प्लेस, गोज़ ऑन, गोज़ ऑन। In the same way, identifying with the Deha, Indriya, Mana, pursuing the world, feeling good about it, wanting it to indulge in it, then putting effort to get it. ये रुकता नहीं, एक के बाद एक के बाद एक बार. वो ऐसे भुलभुलाया है कि यू आर caught up only. Did you see that भुलभुलाया in Naklav? Naklav में भी है उधर, and some other place. तुलसीदास जी आश्रम, there we saw भुलभुलाया. तुलसीदास जी ने सुदामा, someday, हाँ, there in Dwarka, there when we went. सुदामा जी के आश्रम में गए, बुलबुलाया, यू जस्ट वॉक वॉक वॉक, यू आर कितना घूम के उधर ही रह जाते हो. लखनऊ वाला अच्छा लगा मुझे, आई थिंक लखनऊ ओनली इट इज. बुलबुलाया गो इन, फिर उधर ही आते. वी हैव टू अरेस्ट ऑल दैट. सी नाउ, सी how difficult it is. More than that, how much we have to be serious, sincere, careful about our spiritual evolution, that we have to pay time and attention, start understanding. And to that extent, we are liberating. नहीं तो क्या फंसी रहोगे वैसे ही. Like when you don't monitor your sugar level daily and try to control it, देखते देखते बढ़ जाएगा, that will destroy your vital organ, one day you die. It takes cost, it takes our time, patience. Then only you can know, you can control, you can live long. That's a body level example I give. So too in life in general. Never ever hesitate to know. Never ever hesitate to know about what exactly happening, what exactly should happen through the Shastras. Never become lazy in this. It is tough, it is difficult. Nothing is in this world. If a person is very lazy, it is impossible for him to come out of the bed, to wash his face, to take a bath, even to have coffee and tea also, he'll not make it. कोई बना के देना है इसको bed tea, bed coffee. He's a buffalo. That extreme laziness also one can invoke, an extreme active dynamism of only referring to Shastras and understanding them through all types of scrutinization and catching the essence of them and trying to implement this highest level of dynamism one can be. Extreme laziness also one can. It is our choice. And get the inspiration from the Gurudev and all Mahatmas who never gave even chance for the Dehendra Manobuddhyadi as well as the Prakriti of the Rajas and Tamas to overpower their sankalpa of serving the world through the Shastra Prachara or whatever the work they took up. They also have Dehendra Manobuddhi. Every Dehendra Manobuddhi will attempt to become Tamasic Rajasic. They didn't allow it. That's the victory. That's how they could do more. हमें अपने जीवन के उद्धार के लिए, मेरे से नहीं हो सकता, मुझे मुश्किल हो रहा है, कठिन है, इस जन्म में नहीं करूँगा, अगले जन्म, दीज आर ऑल उल्लू बना रहे अपने आप को. एंड दैट डे व्हिच वी शेयर्ड 2-3 months बैक, फिर बीच में हम भूल गए बोलना. फिर से शुरू कर रहे. That day you have shut the mouth of the Guru, you have destroyed your path of spirituality. How did you shut the mouth of the Guru? By justifying what you are doing, by telling him what he is telling, that I can't do what you say. मेरे से नहीं हो सकता जो आप कह रहे हो. दैट मीन्स यू हैव शट द माउथ ऑफ गुरु. गुरु से अब तुम कह रहे हो नहीं हो सकता, तो मैं क्यों दोबारा कहूँगा. Then a kind, compassionate Lord coming in the form of Guru, even to give idea, suggestion, that also we lose. Then who will be there to tell us anything? Anybody will come, only tell out होगा only again. कौन है आपके जिंदगी में योग वेदांत शास्त्र सत्संग सुनाने वाले? एक ही बंदा है. अब मेरे को ये छोड़ दोगे तो वे फंस ही जाओगे. जाओ, मैं क्या करूं. That day we have killed ourselves. If you have really shut the mouth of Guru. On the other hand, when you allowed the Guru to speak and speak in all ways, by all means, to eliminate all the weaknesses, negativities in us, then you gave birth to your own self as a great sadhaka. That inspires Guru also. Then he will give time more, love more, concern more. Like my time, love, concern goes for you 10 people or 7 people who regularly listen. That's because शास्त्र का आप सुन रहे हो. तो फिर whatever tapasya is happening, I'll pray to the Lord, let it be spread to all these 7 people, not the other irregular, insincere, what do you say, that people who never care as are the Shastras. उनको तो हम निकाल ही दे रहे माइंड से. After 2 years, after 2200 classes, definitely I have to withdraw. Go जाओ, why should I waste my energy? But you are listening carefully. So, what are the things that are said? Never hesitate to become jnani by knowing Shastra. Never become lazy in this regard. Who gives all that is the Guru. Therefore, never make the Guru don't talk. Let the Guru go on guiding us. That he talks to us through the Shastra. And thus, understand all these. Then once you understand, then slowly you can find your own solutions. Thank you, Sarvam. Krishna Arpanam Om. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnamada Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sri Guru Vyo Namaha. All Sri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki Jai. Now for half an hour we'll study our Valmiki Ramayana. Today, tomorrow we'll finish the Yuddha Kanda.